6.
This is how Mexico's deciding which judges' positions will be up for grab next year. By tombola.
137.
The draw took place this weekend in the country's Senate, a strange new twist in an already controversial process. Now candidates will compete to fill the more than 700 judgeships pulled out of the drum in an election scheduled for June 2025. Those include all the Supreme Court positions. It's all part of a new reform of the justice system. The governing party, Morena, says letting people decide on their judges via popular vote will democratize a system in which it claims corruption and nepotism is entrenched.
It's really difficult for ordinary Mexicans to have access to justice. What we want is a justice system that's in favor of the people, of the nation.
Judges have launched repeated attempts to strike down the reform, the latest on Thursday. In her Friday morning press conference, President Sheinbaum rejected it.
We're not taking down the reform because the complaint has no legalistic value.
Meanwhile, judicial workers continue to protest. Among their complaints, the reform will drastically lower the qualifications and experience required to be a judge.
The requisites after the reform are a minimum of experience, minimum qualifications, and some letters of recommendation from your neighbours. It's like deciding a body of heart surgeons purely by popular vote.
A lack of training's not the only worry. This is the big criticism, that putting judicial positions up for a vote risks politicising the whole system. After all, elections mean campaigns, and how are judges going to finance those campaigns? How are they going to raise their profiles? After all, almost nobody knows who they are without doing deals with political parties. Or perhaps even darker interests. Criminal groups in the country have already gotten involved in a lot of local elections. Who's to say that they wouldn't want their preferred candidate also in a judge's chair? But many Mexicans support the measure. The justice system is widely agreed to be broken. About 90% of cases don't even get to court. But civil society groups say that's not because of the judges, but because of substandard evidence being presented to them by Mexican public prosecutors.
The majority of public prosecutor offices don't have the sufficient training to investigate crimes, or staffing numbers or resources. And I'm talking about basic resources like warehouses to keep evidence.
But those public prosecutors' offices, at the start of a faulty chain, aren't touched at all by the reform. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.